Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television. This is a Diplomatic Leaks show, a program that looks at the diplomatic lines, the faulty lines, behind the lines, under the lines, on top of the lines of diplomacy. What is happening in the Great Lakes region, in Africa, and in the world? This morning, we are faced with one big question, of which I will answer through a takeaway. But before I do the takeaway, I want to explain what is a proxy. What is a proxy? By English language definition, it means somebody else doing something for someone, but someone is hidden behind it. Is something delegated, but the person delegating is not known. Is there a proxy war in East Africa? Is there a proxy war in East Africa? The answer is yes. And when looking at this proxy war, you look at the way the situation has been well programmed to suit in the conditions that make up a proxy war. There are players, key players behind what is taking place in the entire region, right from Somalia, South Sudan, Congo, and the southern parts of Tanzania, where we have Al-Qaeda offsprings of ISIS operating in Cape Delgado in the Great Lakes region. Seven years ago, in 2015, I followed the line. I followed both clandestinely the formation of a proxy war in East Africa. I came to my conclusion that East Africa indeed will experience the effects of a proxy war. Does it occur to you that thief, which is gold? You know, gold does not decay. To us, what is the symbolism? The bitterness, the anger that the family of Patrice Lumumba and the entire Congo has gone through for 61 years. Who pays for this type of atrocities, intended atrocities, designed, deliberate to harm Africa? Look at that. 61 years you keep the body of a human being whom you have cut and put acid on to burn the body. But because acid does not burn gold, the thief is spared. The whole ashes are put in ice. You take a ceremony in a cathedral in Brussels. You airlift it and hand it to a puppet government in the DRC. Doesn't it pain Africans who have been crying for Patrice Lumumba? It does. But the intention of this is to pull one side because another metro state, and I want students of international relations to look at this angle. There is the metro state, one European metro state that has always wanted to create, to capture Congo as its final territory. The Congolese speak French. They are learning English now. And that territory, 2 territories in Europe are showing supremacy. And that supremacy is going to end up giving us a proxy war on the continent, on the region of East Africa. Belgium is now saying, we have returned, we want to work with you. And I agree with P.L. Lumumba that it won't be long before Belgium, Congolese government calls upon, DRC government calls upon Belgium to send its troops to safeguard Congo. Why is Belgium doing so? Belgium is doing so, Miriam, and all the listeners and those watching us. Belgium is doing so because France has now mended their relationship with one African leader in the region, or 2 African leaders in the region. France has managed to take over the Uganda oil. Total Oil is now in charge together with the Chinese. The French have managed to work their relationship back with Kagame. They are now good friends. But in the mix of all this and the approach of an international conspiracy move, they have left out some countries that were previously friendly. And I hope you are following the story. Were previously friendly, but now they have said, oh, you used us, now you have gone in bed with Mr. Kagame, and you have forgotten all about us. So Belgium comes in and says, no, everything that we took from you, we shall return it, including the body of Patrice Lumumba. The ceremony is handed over to boost the integrity of Tshisekedi. President Tshisekedi will go down in history for having asked for the body, just as Idi Amin went down in history for having asked for the body of Sir Edward Mutesa in Uganda, for it to be brought and buried home in Kasubi tombs. It was exhumed from the London burial place, airlifted. Idi Amin facilitated the airlifting, and why he wanted to concentrate and get back the Buganda region is because, and why he became stronger after returning Sir Edward Mutesa's body, which Obote had not permitted for it to be brought because he feared the repercussions. Idi Amin did it. Sir Edward Mutesa's body returned to Uganda. Amin became very popular and very friendly. The Baganda were saying, this is the man, this is our man. But behind all this, there was a design of an international proxy war, a design of an international proxy intelligence. Why do you return the body now? Soften Idi Amin's approach. Give him popularity. The blame was on the British. Why did you support Idi Amin and the French and the Israel, the Mossad of Israel to overthrow Dr. Milton Obote? Because Idi Amin at that time had started killing people, and he killed Benedetto Chiwanuka, a Muganda, the leader of Democratic Party. He was killed, the former Chief Justice. He killed Professor Frank Kalimuzo, the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, very bright. He killed so many people. He killed Bishop Luum. He killed Oboth. He killed, how many people did he kill? Oriem. All these were killed by firing squad. So the time when this body of Sir Edward Mutesa returned to our country, people looked at Idi Amin and said, even if he has been killing us, it looks like he is okay. At least he has allowed the body of Idi Amin to come back, or the body of Sir Edward Mutesa to return. And that gave him politics. He became popular. While people were being massacred, students were being fought, they were put on firing squad, on the roads littered with dead bodies. You are going home for holiday, you'd see roadblocks, suitcases, everybody come out, open the suitcases, 10 roadblocks before you reach home. All this, we went through it. The return of Patrice Lumumba's dead body that was killed 1961 to date is a sign of a proxy arrangement that could spark a further worsen the situation in the Great Lakes region. Congo now, Tshisekedi could call upon Belgium to come and help to fight insurgency. But remember, there are the French who have been on the side of Tshisekedi. Remember when everybody did not want to recognize Tshisekedi's election, which country came up to recognize Tshisekedi's elections? The African Union itself did not want to recognize his elections. But France came and recognized the elections of Tshisekedi. You have remembered that? They agreed and said they supported because it was free and fair. And the arrangement, even the other man who was #1 who won the election, Kabila just chose the successor. And that was it. But as you look at the things, the events taking place today, Tshisekedi is facing a quiet internal rebellion and at the same time facing an international onslaught from neighboring countries that are funding M23. So when you look at who funds M23, supports M23 financially, and on whose behalf is M23 fighting, it becomes a proxy war. None of the countries is saying, I am the one. None of the countries is come out to say, I will stop it. None of the countries is coming to say, it is a good venture to divide, to rearrange Congo. Is Congo being rearranged silently through? Is it a repeat of 1884 by Bismarck and King Leopold, who killed and ordered the slaughter of Patrice Lumumba? Are the French playing a quiet, silent part in a proxy war that is taking place? If we start with the proxy war, let's look at, for example, the Lapset. Why did the French pull out of funding the Lapset? Is it not a proxy war? Proxy analysis? You look at the French having admitted it's a good project that can develop the hinterland of the northern part of Kenya up to that there's a port there whose name is very complicated. Look, some part near Lodwa in Turkana, where the oil could be transported straight direct to Lapset in Lama and it goes for refinery. If you look at that, they agreed, they saw it, they had done the feasibility study, it was possible. But the proxy war, the proxy politics of proxy came in. Someone told the French that the pipeline is too close to Al-Shabaab attacks that could come from Somalia, and they could blow up the pipeline, and all the money that you have spent could go to West. The French withdrew. After several months, they said they cannot be able to finance the lapset. The government of Kenya and the government of Uganda that had agreed to put money to fund all its pipeline from Albertine region of Western Uganda, Hoima, pump it into the northern part through Karamoja up to the northern part of Kenya into the pipeline that was going to connect from that port where Kenyan oil is being pumped. Uganda's oil could be pumped direct through to the port of Lamu. What then happened? What happened is the Ugandan government said, we have found a shorter route. We rather do Hoima, Mwanza to Tanga than doing Hoima, what is the town called, Miriam? Lokichan, yes, Lokichan. Up to Lokichan. Then we can do Lokichan, Lamu, we can do Hoima, Mwanza, Tanga. As soon as the Uganda government said that, again, the same French jumped up and said, yes, we agree with you. The oil company that was drilling the oil in Uganda sold all their stake to the Total Oil and the French companies. The French company and Chinese company. They sold all the oil blocks. Taro Oil, Medium, sold each and everything. And they left it in the hands of Total Oil. Millions and billions of dollars, of pounds, dollars, exchanged hands. Immediately, the Proxy war moved from Lapset, came down to Mwanza, came down to Tanga, the rail line, the Tanga. The Chinese said, we shall do it. In fact, I was in Tanga, and recently, Miriam, you can't believe it. The town has sprung very well. It's doing, buildings are coming up. But then Magufuli stood again and said, no, these French have come here again. He said, we shall look for new partners who can help us to build this. The start of another proxy war. It started ping pong until they settled down and the building is going on. If you look at the hinterland of Tanzania from above the skies, you will see how that rail has come. It is there, you can see it. It is going to pass all the way up to Mwanza, deliver the oil, the pipeline. Along there will be a light railway for repairing the pipeline, because you can't just do without the light railway. So you'll be building two things at a go. That will go up to Mwanza and deliver to the ships. Then the ships can deliver to Hoima. That is all creating and affecting the environment, natural environment, ships anchoring, ships loading. Oil, at times leaks, which could kill the ecosystems on Lake Victoria. Lots of things are happening. But at the moment, as Miriam was saying in the other show, nobody is bothering about that. Until one day you hear that Lake Victoria has turned red or black. Then you can see people coming to say, oh, we need help to rescue the animals. But at the moment, we are building this railway and a pipeline that will deliver this oil through the lake by ship. What are we creating? We are creating employment, we are creating facilities, we create social development along this route, but the consequences are dear, very dire and very dear consequences that we shall have as an African continent. But coming back to the final strand of a proxy war, a coup took place in Burundi. Burundi accused Rwanda of having given a coup, plotters, facilities, and rescue and home after they had taken over the coup and they were removed. Where did these people go? Nobody has answered that up to today. As we speak now, Rwanda and Burundi have not opened the border for people to freely move like Uganda and Rwanda. You can fly into Bujumbura, but Burundians cannot fly directly into Rwanda. They have to fly either in Dar es Salaam or fly in Entebbe, then fly into, and they say, where have you come from? Kampala or Entebbe. So the proxy war, if you look at the proxy war and the creation of Lubumbashi, look at the location of Lubumbashi, the capital city of southern region near Katanga region. Lubumbashi is a capital city, is a city, one of the cities of Congo. But across the border with Zambia, there is now AFCOM, a very big American force with offices in the hinterland of Africa. They have created offices in Zambia. It's the first time in history that AFCOM can create an office hinterland inside, not at the port of Dar es Salaam or at the port of Maputo or Durban or Mombasa or Morogoro or Tanga or Kismayo. They have created it inside Zambia. So when you look at the region as we talk, it is submerged into a proxy war that all these countries cannot tell. One, who funds the rebels. Two, who arms the rebels. Three, on whose benefit are the rebels fighting for. The answer of peace and stability, therefore, Miriam, lies in those three answers being God. Thank you.
Countries who are wishing to, form the force to go there and stabilize it, to stop. They're saying we call on you to give it up, because they are accusing Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda as being involved in that conflict. So they are saying no. That force that the East African community is meant to be setting to the DRC is not welcome. So there's already some resistance there. So I don't know how that is going to work out. And I kind of tend to think, as much as this is like a militant group speaking, in my mind, I feel like they are representing the position of, and I could be wrong, of the government. Because you've been seeing how even President Tshisekedi has been in these meetings, and of course he does not want Rwanda to be part of it. But now this group is saying, not just Rwanda, but they don't want Burundi and they don't want Uganda also to be part of that force, and so that force is not welcome. Instead, they are suggesting for reforms and reinforcements in the Congolese armed forces. So they're saying there should be some reforms in their own army so that the army is able to handle this matter of insecurity in the DRC. So I'm not sure how that is going to work out, or how the East African community force is going to address this, or how President Uhuru Kenyatta, as the chairperson of the East African community, who convened this meeting and having reached this resolution, is going to address this matter. But they've rejected the proposal to deploy a regional peacekeeping force, some residents in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes. I think you have a point there. There's something that group knows which we don't know. And they're acting on orders of somebody.
I feel like they're speaking on behalf of the government, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
So, the more you talk about it, the more proxy it becomes. So, in short, I have told you there is a problem. There is a problem. I was looking for a question that was asked, why Tanzania? Why Tanzania was not attending these meetings. Mm-hmm. There is a point which has been made, by one. They asked a question, and I can remember the question.
But Doc, after the explanation you gave as to why Tanzania also, President Suluhu has missed the Commonwealth meeting, so maybe that is why, because remember, President Magufuli was not keen on these international travels a lot. So maybe President Suluhu is just following on that footstep, and instead of showing up there physically, so maybe the High Commission for Tanzania in that country can represent the country. That could be one aspect of it. And the other one, I don't know, perhaps she has her own reasons as to why she does not feel that Tanzania needs to be represented like that. But it could be the explanation you give on the other show.
I don't think so, Miriam. I think there's something more than that.
And President Magufuli used to have the same attitude when it came to certain issues in the East African Community bloc. You remember, he was not very keen on fully participating, and we've accused him of really leaning so much into SADC. So maybe Suluhu has a similar diplomatic approach. Could be, or yeah.
Miriam, the question is this, and it is not it is not all that simple as it is. It is something to do with integrity and truthfulness. I think the lady, Mama Sulu, wants truthful people. He wants to sit with Miriam, and Miriam, when I have a problem, you tell me, no, this is not right. But there are people sitting on that table, Miriam, whom the lady knows are really funding these guys. You get the point? There are people like now, you have just read a statement by a radical group, Congolese, who is sending these Congolese who are in Congo, and they are issuing a statement from Congo. It must be the government of Congo that has instructed them to say so, isn't it? So if it is a country code and they are saying they don't want Kenya, anybody coming in here now.
They don't want Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. So so we only remain with Tanzania, which is not even interested, in Kenya, and South Sudan, which has its own problems with its troops. I doubt it will even be donating some of its security officials. So it's only Kenya and Tanzania.
And one question that one of the diplomats in Tanzania, a great friend of mine and a senior security officer, asked me is, how will Kenya prevent Uganda or Rwanda from attacking Kenyan troops via proxy rule and via proxy? The same way Rwanda killed Tanzanian peacekeepers a few months ago.
Oh, hold on.
How?
Days ago, because is it 2 Tanzanian?
Yeah, days ago.
They were
Why
murdered.
they go?
They were murdered by the Rwandan, by the M23.
Yes.
Yeah, they were yeah. 2 weeks ago.
How?
Actually, it's not too long ago. Yeah.
That's the question that is being asked. How?
And that is a real concern, Doc. You see how KDF has been attacked in Somalia, courtesy of Ethiopia has been accused, and we've seen how we've lost so many soldiers because of those intra-proxy wars going on between countries that are there to keep the peace. We end up being victims. So that's a good question, and we might find ourselves in the middle of their problems.
I'm just asking.
It's a good question.
I'm just asking. I am bold preaching to.
But Doc, even when KDF, we learned that I was going there for the first time, I said it was a bad idea. But since we don't have the intelligence, I guess the government knows better why it was even necessary to have that bilateral agreement between Kenya and DR. But I had my own reservations. But I'm not an intelligence officer. So
I also make a lot. For me, I'll speak out until maybe I'm cut down. But I'll continue to speak and expose. You know, it's a proxy war. That's why you see Tanzania is saying, I'm sorry. I'm not coming. I'm sorry. I'm not coming to this. You turn and kill our soldiers. And you expect us to come on the table. We are not fighting in Congo. We are not Congolese. We have been called in Congo.
They're part of MONUSCO.
We all want peace. But if peace is going to come through proxy, then I have no problem, but only to say it is going to be a very nasty war. Thank you very much, Miriam. Can I ask that question to the public? Or I keep it quiet? how will Kenya prevent Rwanda and Uganda from attacking Kenyan troops through proxy of M23, like they did on the Tanzanian troops? That's why Tanzania is not coming on the table. Thank you. So you can see, instead of us saying we want a Biafra, we are now saying we want to go to Khartoum, then we shall come back. This just say we want to create a Banamulenge state on the borders so that we have a buffer zone. Are we together?
Like what we have in Somalia and Somaliland and
what has happened between Ukraine and Russia. That you cannot create NATO here. This area, the eastern Russia, they are us, they are Russians. So we shall cut it off and stay here. So you, Mystic, those who are in Mystic, you can be Ukrainians, but these ones are ours. That's exactly what is going to happen. The two countries are not saying the truth, but they want a buffer zone where their countries will not be attacked. Because they feel the guys in Banamulenge are their brothers. Have I hit the point home?
And there have been reports that they've been attacked by other communities inside the DRC who do not see them to be sufficiently Congolese.
It's a tragedy. It's a big tragedy.
And Doc, just to add on what you just said before we wrap up the show, I think that because when you look at the events that have been happening in the DR with Belgium, I've been reading those news every now and then. This is happening, the king has said this and that and that. I think Belgium is up to something. I think Belgium is slowly trying to come back into the good books of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they know right now the DRC is in need because of the insecurity that is ongoing. So President Tshisekedi could be desperate, and as you mentioned and you reminded us, remember President Tshisekedi's father died in Belgium, was not buried for 2 years. They helped him keep the father's body very safely until Kabila was out of power, and 2 years later the body came back to be buried after the Tshisekedi became president, Tshisekedi Senior. And so there's something cooking up there, and Belgium might not be up to any good.
Yeah.
And the returning of Tooth is not a coincidence.
Going by what is happening, nothing can be ruled out. It could be the same. I thank you. Do I need to do a takeaway? I don't think so. I think I need to.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You and I, we have done a very great job today. But let me do a takeaway. That will be very useful at the moment. The war in East Africa and the Great Lakes region poses a threat to the stability and economic advancement and development of the Great Lakes region and the entire Africa. Across the Great Lakes region, wars are in several countries. Somalia is under Al-Shabaab. Democratic Republic of Congo under 123 rebel groups, all fighting for legitimacy. Mozambique is under threat from Al-Qaeda remnants or ISIS remnants. Ethiopia has ceased, the hostilities have stopped, but still under a peace process. And this war is created by people who design it to create chaos for our region. But are we ourselves sincere of who, one, arms, two, funds, three, whose war it is? It remains a mystery. And that is why I call it a proxy war. The title of this show, of this clip, is Proxy War in East Africa. A proxy war has been planted in the Great Lakes region and the region of East Africa, where people, those who fund the rebels, don't say, and where the rebels who are funded don't also say and accept that we are funded. But above all this, key countries in the West that are interested in the mineral wealth of these places and the strategic importance of countries like Somalia, countries like Mozambique, the gas products, the hot springs of Beira Enclave and the Triangle. All this make us vulnerable to a war which is not ours. It is because of this that Africa must stand up and Africa must begin to see beyond today's wars and look at who is creating this proxy war. Is it the French? Is it the Belgians? Is it the minerals? Who is involved in the minerals, the oil, the hot springs? For example, in Cape Delgado, you have Total Oil sponsoring the whole countries, all countries, and buying even security mercenaries to go and prevent the oil installations in Cape Delgado. Whose benefit is it? How do we attain peace in a situation where multinational companies like Total Oil are involved in every conflict that has taken place on the continent of Africa? Their departure from assisting the LAPSET project to Lochika in northern Kenya presents very many worrying questions. And immediately supporting the Tanga, Mwanza, Hoima creates many problems, many questions. Why is the double standard then? Is this a proxy war? If it is a proxy war, does this proxy war help Africa or destroy East African region and the Great Lakes region? The answer is, time has come. Why is it then countries within the East African region are not all speaking in one language and admitting, accepting, stopping the rebels and telling the rebels to stop and go back on table to find a long-lasting solution? Why? What are these paramount hidden proxy war feelings? Is it a war to reassemble Congo? Is Congo being reassembled quietly? Do we reassemble Congo? Why can't we say openly that because of ever-ending conflicts across the border in Democratic Republic of Congo, most of the countries that neighbor it are not feeling safe? And therefore we can create a buffer zone, a no man's land, which could help, like the Berlin Wall, that helped everybody in the East to stop another Third World War. Is it a proxy war? The answer is yes, it is a proxy war. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.